The topic that I have chosen is that of African Americans and substance abuse, specifically African American adolescents and substance abuse. Stay with me, if you will, as we take a look at what statistics have to say about African American adolescents and substance abuse. Based on the October 2011 issue of the National Survey on Drug Use and Health Report, which is published by the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, the rates of substance use among Black adolescents ages 12 to 17 were lower than national averages for the same group. For alcohol use, the rate for Black adolescents was 10.5%. The national average is 16.0%. For marijuana use among Black adolescents, the rate is 6.5%, and the national average is 6.9%. And then the percentage or the rate of use for non-medical use of prescription-type drugs for Black adolescents ages 12 to 17 is 2.9%, and the national average is 3.3%. When looking at African American adolescents living in poverty as compared to the national average of adolescents living in poverty, we see an alcohol usage among the Black adolescents at 10.7%. The national average is 13.5%. Marijuana use among African American adolescents living in poverty is 6.9%, and the national average is 7.0%. Non-medical use of prescription-type drugs for African American adolescents living in poverty is 3.8%, and for the national average for all other groups is 3.6%. Although substance use rates for African American adolescents are lower than the national average for all adolescents the same age, it is still important that action be taken to prevent, delay, or reduce drug usage among African American adolescents. So the question then becomes, why is it important to drive down the substance use rates among African American adolescents? One reason is because, as it was pointed out in the Adolescent Addict video, 90% of people with dependence on drugs began their drug use as an adolescent. Another reason is that adverse consequences of drug use are reportedly higher in the African American communities than in other communities. Although African American adolescents drink less alcohol than the general population, they suffer higher rates of alcohol-related ailments. And some of those ailments include heart disease, high blood pressure, decreased or impaired brain functions, liver and kidney disease, and kidney failure. These ailments, of course, are not relegated to African Americans, but many of them appear to be more prevalent among African Americans. Also, alcohol use is closely tied to 3 leading causes of death among African American youth, ages 12 through 20. And those 3 leading causes are homicides, suicides, and unintentional injuries, which include car crashes. Other negative health and social consequences include the high risk of HIV transmission and the more substance abuse related legal problems than the general public or general population. How do African American adolescents learn about drugs, particularly alcohol. There are basically four avenues through which they find out about alcohol usage: magazines, radio, television, and within the African American communities. When it comes to magazines, according to the Center on Alcohol Marketing and Youth, alcohol advertisers concentrated the advertising that overexposed African American youth in 14 magazines, accounting for 75% of the exposure of the African American youth to alcohol advertising in 2004. Those 14 magazines exposed African American youth to alcohol ads more effectively than youth in the general population. When it comes to radio advertising, the black youth ages 12 through 17 listen to more than 17 hours of radio per week on average, compared to 13.25 hours for all other youth in the same age group. In a sample of over 67,000 occurrences of advertising airing in 104 markets for the 25 leading alcohol brands in June to July of 2004, black youth heard 15% more alcohol advertising per capita than did youth in the general population. Television. In 2004, 39% of African American youth ages 12 to 17 were among the most frequent viewers of cable television, and that's compared to 16% of non-African American teens. In 2004, alcohol advertisers spent nearly $4.8 million to place ads on all 15 of the programs most popular with African American youth. And then the fourth category was that of the African American community, and that influence comes from the concentration of alcohol advertising billboards in the African American neighborhoods. Strategies to lower the substance abuse rates, especially alcohol, among African American adolescents. One of the strategies is to continue to insist that advertisers of alcoholic beverages reduce their consistent and aggressive advertising to adolescents via magazines, radio, televisions, and the billboards in the African American communities. A second strategy is that of parental involvement to ensure that adolescents are reading and viewing age-appropriate material, and also parental involvement in finding appropriate after-school activities for the adolescents so as to eliminate boredom. Boredom has been identified as a big trigger for indulging in substances. A third strategy can be that of using the teachable moment that is generated by a traumatic alcohol-related injury as a gateway to effective prevention of future alcohol abuse. And by targeting and talking about the future alcohol abuse and trying to prevent it, this will also, or can also, decrease or delay the onset of alcohol use disorders. And a fourth strategy is that school leaders and parents can collaborate to get African American adolescents involved in a psychoeducational group that teach children about the harmful effects of alcohol and drug use while helping them build self-esteem. As therapists, what can we do? Well, first of all, we can do our part by advocating for the reduction of advertising alcoholic beverages geared specifically towards African Americans in magazines, on radio and television, and in African American neighborhoods. We can also, as therapists, when counseling adolescents, use language appropriate for African American adolescents when stressing the risks associated with the consumption of alcoholic beverages, including the devastating effects alcohol consumption has on the brain. Thirdly, although statistically it can take 3 to 4 times in a treatment program before it works, as therapists, we should encourage adolescents and their parents to stick with an integrated drug treatment program even when the African American adolescent experiences a lapse or a relapse. The good news is that success through collaborative efforts in decreasing substance abuse in the African American adolescent is achievable. Now, one of the psychoeducational groups that may be a viable alternative for the adolescents is that of DARE, which is Drug Abuse Resistance Education. So at this point, I would like for you to take a quick look at a video concerning DARE.
I come in very enthusiastic. I ask, what time is it?
Guys, what time is it?
They all shout, it's DARE time, and until I get the appropriate sound level check of DARE time, then we begin classes. They all have a DARE box, which is a questionnaire box which they designed, and they put questions in it pertaining to the program, and some are personal. The questions pertaining to the program, I ask in front of class and I answer them, and ones that we need special attention to, maybe I'll call that student after class and I'll say, you know who you are, and we can talk after class about this if it's something personal going in their life or involving bullying or drugs and things like that. And sometimes it is personal. And as we go on the program, the lessons, we have rules, you know, through the day that we have to apply. Raising your hand, being respectful, you know, following directions, things like that. Basically, the kids know the rules. We start our class, whatever the topic may be, and we get involved in it. The lessons are very interactive. I ask a lot of questions, a lot of feedback from the kids, and it's just a fun day. DARE is Drug Abuse Resistance Education. Basically, we set up in schools, there's a collaboration with the schools to try to teach kids more healthy choices. When I come here, I have the little lion, which is Darren, our DARE mascot. So the kids, when they see me coming to class, which, you know, I get a lot of looks, a big guy, toting a little stuffed animal, a little Darren lion, and especially when I go to St. Vincent, when I come out of there, I'm holding this lion. Parents look at me like, what is he doing? You know? But the kids get really excited when they see me come in the building with Darren because they know it's DARE time, and they have to answer the magic question and get to babysit Darren for the remainder of the class. So it's a question pertaining to the lesson that I ask every class period, beginning of class, and whoever gets it correct gets to babysit Darren for the remainder of the class and return it back to me. So that's always exciting. They're really amped up to answer the question and get chosen to answer the question to keep Darren. So we kind of be proactive and you know get involved with the youth early because those behaviors, teaching starts early, learning starts early. So we want to be involved in trying to get these kids comfortable with police officers, that all police officers aren't bullies or bad guys. We're here to help. We're here for service, and developing a rapport with the kids at a young age, it helps us in the long run.
I hope the information in the DARE video was insightful for you. Unfortunately, I was unable to find a DARE video with African American adolescents, but the purpose of the video was to provide you with information to inform you of what's entailed in the DARE program. Thank you very much for watching the video and listening to my presentation. Thank you.